Hello, and welcome to the SubParBro podcast. I'm joined by
Ian.
And I'm Tom. And today we're going to be talking about our first thoughts and reactions to Spider-Man Brand New Day. We got out of the cinema a couple hours ago, so it's fresh on our mind. And so, Keane, if you want to kick us off.
I will kick you off, Tom. Oh, my bad. Anyway, so yeah, like Tom said, me and Tom just got out of the cinema, but we went to a later viewing of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I very much liked it. I letterboxed it during the credits, 4.5 stars.
Same.
Goated film. I will say, first of all, I'm a big Tom Holland fan, so this film might not stay a 4.5. I just need to know if it's rewatchable. That's kind of my vibe when it comes to film. That it's if I can rewatch it again. Well, not normal films, but with Tom Holland, because I loved Homecoming. I've watched it several times. I love Far From Home. I've watched it so many times, and then No Way Home. I've watched like 3 times. I think I've not watched that as much, but I still very much love it. So this one I think is going to depend on its rewatchability for me. But coming out of the cinema, I really enjoyed it. I mean, Tom was sitting next to me, and so was our other friend. And I was turning around. I was turning around every like 10 minutes or something happened. But like just a shocked face emoji, or like I was loving it. I was feeling that. I was feeling the film.
He was.
So
He was feeling something else as well, but we won't go into that.
Yeah, no, we will not be going into that. Rubs hands maniacally. But yes, no, I did enjoy it. I have a lot more likes than I do dislikes for this movie. But Tom, I would like to hear your baseline opinions of the film.
So, as Keane may well know, if there's one thing you know about me, it's that despite being a massive Spider-Man guy, I'm not a massive fan of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Like, I think my main issue is the fact it's very MCU-ified, and like you do get like I know it's been said before, but he's kind of Iron Man Jr. in a lot of the films, and also kind of I feel like me personally, I can't separate Tom Holland from Peter Parker.
Yes.
But coming out of that, I really enjoyed it. It did feel like quintessentially Spider-Man, whereas like the other past movies, at least to me, kind of haven't. Like, don't get me wrong, there's stuff I disliked about it, but nothing major stood out to me that I really disliked.
Yeah.
I thought like all the characters were good. We'll get to that.
Yes.
I think the story-wise was good. And I felt like Peter's arc throughout the movie was also quite good.
No, I can fully agree. Before we get into it, guys, everything from this point on is a spoiler. If you've not seen the movie, go watch it. Watch this video afterwards. But you've been warned. Spoiler, you've been warned. Okay. So Tom.
So Keane.
What I think we should do is I'm going to give you some of the things I liked about the movie, and we'll discuss, and vice versa with yours, right?
Yeah.
Right. The first thing I thought, this isn't chronologically, but the first thing I've written down is the montage scene at the start, where he arrests Scorpion, he arrests Tombstone. It is Tombstone, isn't it?
Yeah.
I assumed it was, because I think he's in Daredevil, isn't he?
No.
No,
Tombstone's not Daredevil.
I feel like I've seen that guy in a different MCU film. That's all. But yeah. Anyway, going back onto the starting clips where he arrests them all. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. He didn't overdo it. Do you know what I mean? We didn't see like several fight scenes. We saw the first 2, a little clip back to it, and then he kind of just pulled them off the board, and I liked that. Yeah. I liked seeing the different villains. That his like rogue. I like seeing the.
I like the like this building of the Rose Gallery. I'm kind of opposite with you. Like, I wish we saw more of like all of these villains. Like, I think that was the issue with, well, one of not many, but one of the issues with the Fantastic Four movie that came out, I think it was last year, was they do establish that like all these Fantastic Four villains do exist in this universe, and that like they just mop them up like before the start of the movie. Like, I like that we establish, you know, we've got as you say, Scorpion, we've got Tombstone, but we've also got like Tarantula and Boomerang, if that's his name. I was going to say Captain Boomerang, that's a DC guy. But I also like that you get the homages to the comics without, like, you see him swinging, like, as it would be in Amazing Fantasy 15. You see the fight with Tombstone, which is ripped from Spectacular Spider-Man #1 cover. But as I said, I would have liked to see more of that.
I do actually have agree. I kind of do agree what you're saying, because I think it would have been cool to have another montage a bit further into the film.
Yeah,
I think that's how I think it would have been cool in my mind, if we had the start montage where he throws villains in, and then, you know, he goes on about the normal stuff, and then has another montage where he throws in more villains in prison, and had more fights. And I will say, I think I really liked about it is that with Scorpion, with Tombstone, it is genuinely setting up. So maybe if they make the 5th film, we might get a Spider-Man vs. Sinister Six, which we haven't had live action of, really. You've had like a couple, you know, in Spider-Man 3, you had Venom, Green Goblin, and Sandman, and then, you know, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Electro, or whatever they got. Sorry, but it's Electro, isn't it?
Yeah, Electro, and then also Green Goblin.
Okay. Yeah. And, you know, I like seeing. I think it would be fun to see a finally a Sinister Six film. Sorry.
Yeah.
But on that point, I also will say, I did really expect to not expect, but like when we were watching the movie, I was like, is Michael Keaton going to show up as the Vulture when he was personally taken? And I thought, are we going to see it? And he didn't. But I do like how we've got the Vulture set up. We've got Scorpion, Tombstone, you know, all these people that kill, like, you know, clearly can come back, because we saw in Homecoming end screen. Final? What's the end credits? Sorry. Post credit scene, yeah. With Scorpion talking to Vulture. So yeah, like I like that aspect of, we can seal this. And I know, like, we don't have Venom or anything. But I like that we've got a decent rogue gallery for the 4th movie. Yeah.
So going on to something I like about the movie. As I said, I really like Peter's art throughout the movie. Like, I like that kind of at the start he's just only solely focused on Spider-Man, and I do kind of like that aspect of it, and the fact that him neglecting Peter Parker kind of caused the spider part of him to come out more. Yeah. Just to clarify, because I'm not sure, also Keane knows this, but I probably might refer to it as his otherness, because there's a comic called The Other where he does kind of deal with the same things he goes through this movie. Yeah. So if I refer to it as like his otherness or whatever, I'm referring to that. Yeah. But
no, that's fine.
I like that kind of him focusing only on Spider-Man and neglecting the Peter Parker kind of side of it, like, cause that otherness to come out. And kind of the conflict between Peter and Spider-Man is like the central kind of core of the film that gets resolved at the end.
Yeah. And I kind of, on that point, I'd say something that I kind of liked about it was that, you know, he said with the otherness and like him. Did you just mention about MJ rejecting him, kind of?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay, so that's my bad. I really thought, yeah. Anyway, but like, you know, speaking of like him separating, you know how we get to see, I misheard you there. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I like how they didn't explore MJ and Peter's relationship in this movie.
Yeah.
I was really scared that it was going to be like, oh, MJ, come back to me, and she's like, I remember you, Peter. Do you know what I mean? I was
Yeah,
terrified it would have wasted it.
yeah. I was thinking like I really hope they don't go back to the status quo with MJ knowing Peter, and they
Yeah.
did with it. But I'm glad they kind of took it and went in the direction they did with it, where she doesn't just like have that flood of memories back, and she's suddenly like, oh, Peter, bloody blah.
Yeah. And on the same MJ point, I do like how we get that Ned and fucking Peter handshake, and they do it, and it's like,
Yeah,
I think I turned to both you and our other friend, and which went, the bromance is stronger than anything.
yeah.
And it kind of builds onto another like I had about it, which was, I like how in Ned and Spider-Man first interaction, they build Legos together.
Yeah.
It's like they just don't change. They genuinely just don't. And I thought I did think that was such a good thing to see. I don't know about you. I don't know if you enjoyed that scene or not, but
Yeah, I do.
yeah. What I will say, with like us getting a Spider-Man post No Way Home, where it's like, oh, Spider-Man, no one remembers him. We got that aspect of him being new, and in a new apartment, and we see all this, and I like how, I assume, how long is MIT? Because like in the film, it kind of shows us that they're at the last stage of MIT.
Yeah, you
The
see
last
you see him like watching Ned's TikTok at like the start of it, but also at the end of it, and it like goes to show just like how long like Peter's been on his own at the
yeah.
start
And
of it.
I really liked that way of time skipping. Like they didn't go 3 months later, 3 years later,
Yeah,
but it clearly been a time, and he'd gotten the routine of being with no one. And
yeah,
you see him have the little really awkward interactions with the blonde girl the first say when he comes out of the
yeah.
the
I
elevator.
feel like it also like shows what like Peter's missing and kind of the impact Spider-Man has on his life. Because of Spider-Man, he's had to sacrifice not only the relationships, but that kind of like experience of like going to college, and he has to live like the way he does, like to
Yeah,
deal with Spider-Man or whatever.
yeah. It's another example of him, just his sacrifice. But I will say, on like that, I do enjoy his relationship with the police officer. The actress from The Bear.
Jean
Um,
Dore.
yes, her. I really liked her in this movie. I think
Yeah,
she genuinely was one of the best parts about this movie for me. I liked that I like her because it shows how ground level Spider-Man feels.
yeah,
From this guy being so powerful, so strong. We see when his eyes turn black that he does use this, unearthed strength that he probably hold himself back from.
yeah,
Um, and I really like seeing that. At the grounded level where he's just on the phone with her in his plain clothes, walking up New York Street,
yeah,
a street in New York. So I did really enjoy seeing that, and the way they did that with Peter's character instead of. And I will say this is another like I'm going to go into, just jump on, but I like how they don't mention Iron Man in this movie.
yeah,
I like Homecoming because it feels like, you're coming off Captain America Civil War, and you've got that relationship, because we don't have an Uncle Ben in this series, and you've got that relationship of Tony and him.
yeah,
Um, and then the second movie, he's already Tony's already dead. So they kind of focus on Tony Stark being everywhere, and Spider-Man thinks he's got to fill them shoes.
yeah.
Um, he doesn't get mentioned really much in the third movie.
I will say though, again, this is kind of one of the issues I have with MCU Spider-Man. Is I still kind of, even though Tony Stark wasn't in it, I still kind of felt Spider-Man was too similar to Tony Stark, like especially with like the AI in his suit or whatever.
Yeah. And the fabricator.
Yeah,
I will say this is a big like for me though. I like that he's a more advanced. Like yeah, we don't get any notice of Tony in this movie, which I really like. I like that Spider-Man can just be Spider-Man without Tony Stark.
Yeah.
But I like that he's kind of still using his technology. But he knows how to use it. I love seeing like a smart Spider-Man, if you get me.
Yeah.
And we kind of get that here with his consistent retries. So yeah, no, you are right. It just kind of reminds you of Tony because, take the icing in Iron Man 1 where he fixes the icing on his suit.
Yeah.
And then we got this one where he fixes the overheating on the chip in the back of his head, which we kind of get from No Way Home, because of what he does with Dr. Octopus and how he fixes him. So
Yeah.
I do like that similarity between Iron Man and Spider-Man, because it's kind of like he is kind of like a mini Iron Man Jr., which you said you're not a big fan of. But I've got to admit, I am a big fan of him kind of being that in a sense, but like he's Spider-Man without Iron Man. If you get what I'm saying. Yeah. No, I do enjoy the whole. Anyway, Tom. Have you got any more likes? I've got a lot more that I do like about the movie.
I've got
but
quite a
I
few
wanna hear
things I
that
did
from you.
like, but there's a couple scenes in the movie I really liked. Like the first one being like after Spider-Man goes to MJ's party, and then he's swinging in the rain, and after seeing MJ kiss like her new boyfriend or whatever, I feel like that really well, and like the flashbacks are utilized well in that scene because again it shows how much Peter sacrificed, but it also kind of shows how much Peter kind of takes his responsibility as Spider-Man like seriously, and almost like too seriously, like him deciding like he can't have friends and connections because he just has to be Spider-Man like the entire time as Peter Parker. And that's like an aspect kind of in the comics they do a lot, which again I like the fact they brought it over here. It's like Peter taking his responsibility just like to extremes at times, and I feel like that helps like but warm me up to like this version of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But also I feel like the entire like scene in the prison's great. Like the initial like when he's breaking into the prison and fight those couple of guards outside, I feel is done like quite well. Like I feel like it's done in a cool way with like the webs and his acrobatics, but also like the fight with the hand inside the prison, like it does kind of feel like a cage match against the hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And obviously at the end when he does, this is something I'll probably get onto in my dislikes, but at the end when he does like kind of merge the two sides of himself together, and he's able to just like go full like power up mode and defeat all the hand members at once.
Yeah.
Like I really like those fight scenes.
I do have I have a like quite similar to the fight scenes. I said all the fight scenes were really well choreographed.
Yeah.
And oh my god, it's that scene. It's the scene where he just lets loose, and it's just great. I really did enjoy it. We were sitting there, mouth agape, by the way, because of how cool it was. But all the fights through this movie were great. You can get lackluster fights, but with Spider-Man, I think it's so hard to get a fight that's bad.
Yeah.
So even when he just webs a guy, it's he does a little cool like triple web somewhere, or I web grenade. I think that's fucking awesome when he does it, and he fucking aura farms halfway through the movie, just throws them up in the air just to put them back on. I thought it was sick.
And I like that the hand like destroy kind of the web shooters, which forces him to like kind of confront the otherness to get like the webs back to defeat them.
Oh shit, yeah. And then when like they first go in for the stab, and he shatters the blade, was fucking awesome. And then completely destroying the is it the DOD or the DOC?
The Department of Damage Control. DODC.
DODC, okay. Completely destroying the DODC's guns.
Yeah.
That were meant to be the thing to stop him, and like Jean Grey's telling him that they've got a task force against him. But I don't think Spider-Man's stupid enough to think they wouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like obviously we do see it, and he is kind of shocked when like the webs don't work. Because I think obviously they must have reverse engineered his webs and made something that can dissolve them, instantaneously. Yeah, everything was right. And then because obviously it's then completely different when it's organic. It can just and stronger. And I'm gonna really like to see, because we didn't get to see with Andrew organic webs, and then obviously with Tom we kind of thought maybe we wouldn't either. But I think it's dope. Just it also was gross. I will say I do have a point about this, which was seeing him have the organic webs was great.
Yeah.
But it was really grim. It was really grim to watch. Some parts, where you get him, and it kind of like spurt out a little bit, but I like seeing the try and fail aspect of it. I like seeing him try and fail. Yeah, so, yeah, that's it. But man, I mean, I think speaking of Spider-Man, do you have anything else you really like about him?
What, the character or the movie?
No, like I guess basically what I'm trying to say is every other one of my likes now don't really revolve around Spider-Man.
Yeah. I will say I really like the aspects of kind of the other they did do with, like, again, organic webs technically not the other, but we move is close enough, but the extra senses, and like even just like the reference, like when he's wakes up like after kind of swinging home after MJ, and like he's in like the web cocoon on like the side of the building, and he like claws out from that. I feel like that's kind of like a direct reference to the comic, which I really quite like.
Would you say, to anyone that's listening right now, any comics? Would you recommend any comics that are semi-similar to this film that kind of like explore the other, like you said, what before?
Well, the two big comics I would say that explore this Spectacular Spider-Man Disassembled, which is tied to the Avengers Disassembled event, and is where Spider-Man gets the organic webs in the comic. And then also Spider-Man the Other, which is a multi-title event filling out of JMS's Spider-Man one, which is where it's so bullshit in the comics, and people don't like it, but I weirdly love it. And it also ties into Spider-Verse, which again, like Spider-Verse comics again, which are completely different from the movie, but I really enjoyed. Like, it's really good Spider-Man because also the guy writing it actually knows how to write Spider-Man well.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I just wanted to, give anyone that was listening there that would want more of like this other type of Spider-Man. Anything. I guess one more thing I do really like about this movie was Frank's character, the Punisher.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm talking about is like their relationship. I liked how from start to end it's kind of like I saved you here, go fuck yourself. They've got this banter, but they like, as much as Frank until the end doesn't really show that he cares, you can still see it with how he protects MJ, and then how he comes to give him a hand. She did not need.
Yeah. I really like when they're in the hospital at the end, and what is like the scene where he's talking to Peter. Like, I feel like Frank kind of has that kind of uncle vibes to Peter, like that paternal kind of figure in this movie, which
with his little him crying and then him saying that he's got a good guy's face.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize. Go on.
I was just gonna say, can we talk about how bullshit Frank's hospital escape plan is or whatever? Like, he could just put Peter in the like medical jacket and go out, but and let him like walk out, or not even do that. Just let him walk out. No one knows what Spider-Man looks like. He could just let this guy walk out the hospital. He could be seeing anyone. But do you think he just wanted to wear the Spider-Man mask because he's just in the window waving at people?
Yeah. I think he wanted to feel like Spider-Man, and you know what? Fair enough. Who doesn't? But I like seeing the comic relief aspects of Frank, and I thought as much as the Punisher is the Punisher, I think he was one of the main comic reliefs of the movie.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings me on to my next point of, you know when a film throws you, Jean Grey, Frank, the Punisher, Yelena, the Hulk, characters that quite big.
Yeah.
When we've been talking about this, I'm trying to find I'm trying to think of other examples. But do you know when they throw you these big characters and they feel like cameos and don't really help the plot?
Yeah.
These ones genuinely feel like they help the plot. They are there for like a good reason. Like Frank's the Punisher being there. It's good. You know what I mean? He actually helps the plot. He's not just oh look, Spider-Man, I'm also in New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yelena, we will get onto that later about dislikes because I have some problems with her being in the movie, to be honest. I'm still really trying to think of another movie that has these like characters in, somewhat like Deadpool and Wolverine, where they just have cameos for cameo's sake, but that's kind of needed. So that film doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not too sure on that moment. If I think of another one, I'll mention it. But no, I really liked that. I felt like these characters, they didn't really fit into a Spider-Man movie, but when watching it, they worked. They worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't harshen the plot. Do you have anything like that, or?
No, I feel like if we get into that, it's more leaning to maybe some of my dislikes of the movie. So I feel like we should talk about some of the aspects of the characters we did like in this movie to start with.
I can start with you saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, good. Because Jean Grey, right? I think before we went into the movie, we talked about Sadie Sink, with our friend, and she was like, "Oh, it was Sadie Sink's in this," and like, yeah, because like they weren't revealing what Sadie Sink's character was.
Yeah. I mean, if you've been on the internet and like knew Sadie Sink was going to be, chances are like you knew it was Jean Grey. I don't know why they kept it a secret other really than marketing, but
yeah. Because during like the press, she was like, guys, people can dye their hair, and so it was like, oh, is it a Gwen Stacy thing? Obviously, it wasn't. But I don't think it was as good as a reveal as they wanted it to be. I don't think it worked.
Because they also didn't do like a, oh my gosh, it's Jean Grey. It's just this character's name is Jean Grey.
Jean Evelyn Grey, Eleanor Grey, or
Elaine.
something. Elaine, that's what it was. Yeah, it was just like, oh, so that's how they're revealing it. She just feels like a weaker Jean Grey, and I can't lie. Sophie Turner, in my opinion, is fucking awesome as Jean Grey. I love Sophie Turner's Green. I know Dark Phoenix wasn't the best movie, and I haven't seen it yet. But in like the movie she is in, I do really like Sophie Turner.
Yeah.
However, Sadie Sink is fucking awesome, and she plays it so well. We'll talk about the cast later, but I've said that the Jean Grey reveal was obvious. Like, not that it was Jean Grey. To be honest, I was still on the fence of if they would do a mutant in this movie. But I knew Sadie Sink was going to be the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was like, and then when it was revealed about by Sarah, it was like, obviously, it's like, oh, the DODC person was going to be the bad guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It like their plot points were really obvious, but they still were great. Like, I can't.
Yeah, they nailed the landing on at least like if you're making the plot points obvious, you've got to nail it, and they just did.
Yeah. And before we started recording this episode, I talked to Tom about the mutants in the Marvel universe, like that had been established already.
Yeah.
And then, which Tom informed me that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were both technically not mutants in this universe. They were, they got their powers from the Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
And then when we talked about Miss Marvel being a mutant, but they haven't really established mutants in this movie. So, like, I came out of this movie thinking, wow, Jean Grey, the first mutant, but they didn't really say she was a mutant in this.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. You know the scene where she drives off in the bus?
Yeah.
I got X-Men vibes from that.
I was thinking, like, oh, is she going to Westchester or something to, like, If they like off screen establish like an X mansion or something, because they are bringing like the original X-Men like into it with Doomsday. So it'll be like interesting to see how that interacts. If like say he thinks even in like Doomsday and Secret Wars or not.
I was gonna say when that scene shot up, I did kind of like try look at every part of the screen, see if there was like a smaller mansion somewhere, that like if they were hitting something like that, but I didn't see anything. But we talked about that they made Miss Marvel a mutant, in the previous Miss Marvel show, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the MCU hasn't really established mutants, so I'd say I really like the fact that they had their first mutant. But I guess it was one of those things again. Sorry, that we don't know until we've had more movies in the MCU.
Yeah.
So like this stuff might pay off and might be really good a few years down the line, if you get me.
I feel like it is just kind of really random though to just in this Spider-Man movie to introduce a mutant who again they never actually said she's a mutant or whatever. And also we discussed this like pre-show, but like how well do the general public even just know who Jean Grey is? Like,
yeah,
I feel like there were definitely people in the cinema with us, like there were kids and stuff who were like, they've probably not seen like even like probably up to like early teenagers, they've probably not seen like X-Men and stuff, but like, do they know? Is the kind of zeitgeist? Do they know who Jean Grey is nowadays or not?
Yeah, because if you know the lore, it's like a kind of really good reveal, but it just feels underwhelming. It's just it's about a sister who wants another sister, to find her sister basically. And I will say, do you have any more likes, Tom?
I feel like they can class under characters and cast members.
Yeah.
So,
I'll say I've got one more because I think it's one thing I really did like about the movie. A sister series that we've made, which is called Rewatching the MCU before Doomsday. We talked about the Incredible Hulk 2008 with Edward Norton, which we see him, and I really like the design, right? But do you know the part in the film where she's obviously being mind controlled, but it's when he's snapped out of the mind control, and we see how big the Hulk can get. I think that's probably the largest we've seen Hulk, right?
Yeah, I like that because he's been like suppressed so long as like Smart Hulk. Like when he does come out as just regular Hulk, he does just get so big.
It genuinely was so fucking menacing in there. I will say I would have definitely loved a different cinema setting for that scene.
Yeah,
I think we probably would have been better on a different cinema setting, but still just being there and seeing him grow bigger and bigger through like, because even when Jean's controlling him, he's not Hulk. You know what I mean? So actually seeing him get as big as he is, because we've not seen, obviously because Hulk, he's been in the Avengers and then Thor and then this. He's not been as big.
Yeah.
So seeing it, I genuinely fucking love that scene so much. Yeah, it was great. Okay. I would quickly like to move on, Tom, to our dislikes of the movie. Just we might as well get them out of the way because there's a lot more to talk about, and I'd prefer not to stay on the negative, if you get me.
Yeah.
But there was something.
I was just looking up to see if Sadie Sink's like been confirmed to reprise a role in Doomsday or Secret Wars, but I don't think anything's been confirmed yet.
Not yet. Which I mean is valid because when they did the chair unveiling, it was very much. Yeah, she wasn't announced.
I feel like we might talk more about Doomsday and Secret Wars near the end of this video.
Yeah, definitely. I've got another like, but I think it's better if we do it towards the end because it's about the most great thing. Okay. So like I said, going back onto the dislikes, I have one thing about a dislike, and it's about the Hulk.
Okay.
I feel like the film makes it feel, everything that's happened before.
Yeah.
It feels like it just completely doesn't like let me put let me put this in my so we see in Avengers 1 him get angry, in Avengers 2 he's still there, and then he leaves, and then Thor Ragnarok, and we see this like, oh, does he want to be Hulk? And then we see him be Professor Hulk, and then you see it in this, his bracelet snaps off. Sorry, whatever it was called, the
Inhibitor.
Inhibitor, that's the one. And all of a sudden, he's this, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, it's the inhibitor that's keeping him suppressed. But I didn't see that in Endgame.
Yeah.
Or was that? Yeah. It just felt like it came out of nowhere. This is something I always say about Hulk, is they need to either give him an actual movie, or they kind of just fuck his character up, in my opinion. Because what's going on with him? 1 second he's Smart Hulk. In this movie, he's just Banner, who's a professor of physics, which you have the worst physics class ever in, right? I'm not going to say anything about physics, because there's a lot that can be said that should not be said on the internet about physics that we know, Tom. But physics in general, gotta love it. That class fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Mr. Hulk, Mr. Banner, why didn't Thanos just make more food? What the fuck was the Hulk meant to do? Yo, Thanos, man, you've just killed Loki. You've genuinely just you fucked this guy up. Can we have a quick
after Thor just spent an entire movie saving the entire population of Asgard, and you've just decimated it? Do you want to have a quick chat about maybe increasing the Earth size and increasing the food? So whatever.
It's like, what's Hulk gonna be? Thanos, man. How about when you get all these shiny rocks? How about you just snap to give everyone more?
Yeah.
Do you not think he didn't think of that? I'm sorry. This is the thing that pissed me off about Thanos. Because is he meant to be a smart villain or a stupid villain? Because they portray him as such a stupid villain. But isn't he just really smart at the same time? Isn't he an immortal? An eternal. An eternal,
yeah,
sorry.
Eternal, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? I hated that class. Sorry. That's not even like a hit. That just did like a diss on the movie. Just that class scene pissed me off.
Yeah. I did say in my notes, I do kind of wish they did more with Hulk in this movie. I feel like he just kind of existed just very briefly in the middle, and then just didn't the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it was oh, no, go on, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like I've seen people saying I feel like I saw a lot of people saying that they were going to adapt a moment from the comics where after Spider-Man's erased the world of his identity, Hulk remembers because he's Hulk or whatever. It's Banner's forgotten, but Hulk remembers that Peter's Spider-Man. I thought they were maybe going to do that with it, but they didn't even do that.
Yeah, I thought very similar. Do you know the part where he's on Hulk and he's and then he says Banner, and I thought it would have been really cool if he had said Hulk, and then Hulk recognizes him. Not, you know what I mean? Not
but it's Banner. But it's also his thing is Banner, it's Peter, your friend, or whatever. Banner doesn't know who Peter is at this point. Neither does Hulk.
And this is what pisses me off, because they don't show Banner and Hulk. They don't show Banner in anyone. You underutilize his character so much, and it's the Hulk. Fucking kids love the Hulk. Sorry, please go on.
No, that was just it. Peter approached Banner, and even if he did, he said his name was Ned Leeds.
Yeah, so, he used too many aliases in that name.
Neither of them, Hulk nor Banner, know who Peter Parker is. So, why does him saying it's Peter mean anything? Also, one of the things I think I'll segue onto now is, why didn't just Peter tell Banner that he's Spider-Man? I know he's being thinky, but Banner's an Avenger. He knows, to keep a secret. Plus, Banner can literally help Spider-Man more if he knows, what he's dealing with.
I will say, with that, I'm kind of glad we didn't. Do you know what I mean? Because, sorry, I was just thinking about it and thinking of what we were saying earlier about how Iron Man wasn't in the thing. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it would have taken away from Spider-Man a bit if we had gone from, oh, I need Iron Man. Oh, I need Nick Fury / Mysterio. Oh, I need the other guys in Doctor Strange. The other Spider-Man, Doctor Strange. And then if we hit, oh, I need Banner. So I like how he goes for advice.
Yeah, I like
himself.
that kind of he did it himself, but I feel like from a story perspective, like he would just tell him he was Spider-Man. Like you fought together against Thanos. Like I'm sure, like during the time period between Infinity War and Endgame, like Tony Stark told Banner like shit loads about Spider-Man. If like one photo of Spider-Man's all Tony Stark needs to like figure out time travel, I'm sure. Like all the Avengers that survived Infinity War have heard all about Spider-Man.
I will say, slight tangent on that, but the MCU shows one thing, and that's no one has good communication skills.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. It genuinely is like, how are you not like? It's when they mention the funeral scene. It's like, oh, I remember you from the funeral, and you're saying that is the only time you have ever seen each other. I don't think that was in this movie, but it was in a movie. I will say, obviously the only other person we haven't talked about is Yelena yet, and she's in 2-3 scenes, right?
Yeah.
And I've got to be honest, Tom. It's in my dislike because what was the need for a Yelena bathhouse?
To
what in Black Widow and what in Thunderbolts suggests that that's how she'd be.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If they had fleshed it out a bit more, it's kind of valid, and it does lead to some humorous moments with the police woman from The Bear. I'll learn her name eventually, don't worry. She's great in The Bear, by the way, guys. Watch The Bear if you haven't watched The Bear. Quick plug. I've not even finished The Bear yet. Tom has.
I have. Season 5 redeems it.
Whoop, whoop. Hell yeah. But no, I found the bath scene a bit weird.
To be honest, I said that one of my dislikes was just like the inclusion of her just period. Like, at least for me, like Spider-Man's. I don't want to say he's a loner, but he kind of is in the comics, and like he get the information like himself or whatever, and him just going to like a new Avengers and being like, what's this? And also like Yelena's reaction didn't. I was like, I haven't watched New Avengers / Thunderbolts. The fact that Yelena's just they're like, that's like your tiny little problem. I'm on the Avengers. I've got bigger things to solve or whatever.
But clearly shouldn't because she's sitting in a bathhouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And is for the majority of the movie clearly. You know what I mean? I will say it makes no sense from anything we have seen. It doesn't really make sense that she'd be in a bathhouse.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. This is something about Doomsday that we will both probably have the problem is there is not fleshed out at all.
Yeah.
And so it is weird that Yelena's in a bathhouse, and it is weird that she's big potato problems, as she says it. When it's like, what big potato problems? We have seen nothing of it.
Yeah. Also, big potato problems, half of New York getting frozen. Where are you then?
Exactly. But as we've established, no one cares about New York in the MCU. You throw a nuke at it just because.
Who the hell still bloody lives there?
And it's one of those things where it genuinely isn't. It's so underdeveloped that we're seeing like the Hulk. The Hulk's not an Avenger anymore, apparently. And I get in Thunderbolts we get like the new Avengers.
Yeah.
50% of the Avengers still exist.
Yeah.
Like in the TV show Hawkeye, you see Yelena again. We see Yelena, but even then, Yelena says nothing about a bathhouse. Nothing gives the vibe of bathhouse. She gives the vibe of tourism in that. But Hawkeye, as much as he isn't, he's still standing as someone that could be a threat with the Avengers. And Hulk, Thor, which obviously in the Doomsday trailer, first time seeing the Doomsday trailer in the cinema today, actually. He's there, and it's very much not fleshed out. And obviously, we'll talk about it later. So, Tom, please go on to anything else you dislike, because that's all me. Now that I've mentioned Yelena's bath scene.
One thing, again, a couple of things I also disliked is one, again, kind of more just MCU in general, MCU Spider-Man in general, rather than just this movie. But like the Uncle Ben erasure, like there's just nothing of Uncle Ben in like any of the 4 Spider-Man movies, pretty much. And like it's the fact that like when I noticed when Spider-Man's like making a fake name for himself at like MJ's party, he bases it on May's name and turns it into Maynard rather than just saying Ben or something. Like there's just zero aspects of Uncle Ben in like any of the MCU Spider-Man movies, pretty much. And like even I think I sent you like a post on Instagram or whatever a couple weeks back saying like one of the Russo brothers said that Uncle Ben is just not important in the MCU Spider-Man like journey, and Spider-Man like doesn't feel guilty for that or whatever. And like that's an intrinsic part of Spider-Man's character. That's like the entire reason he is Spider-Man.
And I think that's a wrong take as well on their part, because like I understand, like, you know, it's similar to Batman. Do you know what I mean? Where it's Bruce Wayne's parents die, he dons the cape, etc., etc. And with that, I feel like I understand in Homecoming why they probably didn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, we had come from movies which we saw the spider bite, and then the Uncle Ben dying, and then Andrew's same thing happening. So I get wanting to shake it up and do a different take. But then you're like, oh, so we're gonna have 4 more movies onto the first one. And you shoot yourself in the foot a bit.
Like he only goes to visit Aunt May's grave. Was it like so much to show just like Aunt May's grave next to someone else's being like Ben Parker and him giving flowers to both of them or whatever?
I've always assumed that May was never married and Uncle Ben never existed. Do you know what I mean? That was kind of my take. As much as like I don't think it is in. I've seen the movies quite a couple times, and every time I don't ever see it.
I feel like I might get my details wrong, but I feel like it's a blink and you miss it, like Easter egg, like on the suitcase in Far From Home, it says like Ben's name.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, but I've never noticed it. Do you know what I mean? Person that. So like I've always kind of been fine with it because like, you know, they wanted to go the route of Aunt May being Uncle Ben's kind of role, and I think it works. I will say, in my opinion, I do think it works, but they are telling a different Spider-Man story, and I think that's the thing they need to make clear, that it is a different Spider-Man story. I will say I don't have any more dislikes for the movie because I did genuinely fucking love it.
I have a couple more, but
yes, please bless us
one,
with your.
I'm not sure how much you're going to agree with, but throughout the movie you keep coming back to this scene of Aunt May and Peter sitting on Peter's bed after, obviously, a short time after Aunt May finds out that Peter's Spider-Man. And I just felt like the advice she was given was only, like, it was written in for, like, the Sadie scene. I feel like it didn't really reflect to Peter very well. It's like he was like, you'll meet people who will do, like, dark and dangerous things to you or whatever. And I'm like, that doesn't really have anything to do with Spider-Man. That's just, you're saying that because you need someone to say that to Sadie Sink's character.
Yeah, it feels very much like very much something that should have been said to Peter after everyone forgets him, if you get me.
Yeah.
Not when she first finds out he's Spider-Man. You know, the first in the Homecoming, you know, when she finds out, it's like, she says, "What the f?" And then obviously they cut it out. They do the fuck cut out gag. Definitely not overdone. Definitely they don't do it in this movie as well. Can I be honest? I think the movie would have been better with a 15 rating.
Yeah.
Because there's a scene at the end.
But then you won't get. But then, like, Spider-Man's target audience is like kids, and at least you kind of do get that with the 12.
True. Okay, you're kind of true. It's just, you know, when he's fighting the hand.
Yeah.
And he gets stabbed.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been cool if that actually kind of hindered him, but isn't it like an electric sword or something?
Yeah.
So it did fucking nothing. And I do think that would have been better, but obviously because you've got to work with your 12 rating. So no, I do get it. Yeah, never mind then. Yeah, but you are right about that scene. It's very doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit the time.
Yeah. But it only exists because Sadie Sink's character needs to hear that, not necessarily because it works with Spider-Man's character.
Yeah.
I feel like I've also said I do wish they did more with the otherness aspect of Spider-Man. Like, I mean, I will say I feel like he kind of just got resolved in the hand fight just very quickly and didn't really. There was no like satisfaction to that resolution. And to be honest, I'm a pretty idiot watcher. Like English literature, not for me. I don't really think of like the deep stuff. But when I was walking home with the friend we watched it with, she was like, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it's kind of symbolic of kind of his arc through the film, because like at that point he has kind of realized he just need to be both Spider-Man and Peter Parker, whereas up to that point he was just being Spider-Man or whatever." And to be honest, I was like, "Oh yeah, to be fair, that's true." But I do wish they did kind of deal with it more, like even to the extent of like, because I kind of knew going in, because of the trailers and stuff, they were probably doing, oh shit, they're doing the other or whatever. Like even like I kind of, again, maybe my expectations are too high, but I was like, man, it would have been nice to see like Spider-Man like pop the like claw bone like the claws or whatever from his forearms that the other ability gives him.
Okay. Wait, what the fuck?
Like the other ability gives him like the ability to like pop bone claws or whatever from his forearm.
What, like X-23? No,
X-23. It's like, it's not like a Wolverine one. It's from like the inside of his forearm, and it's just like one, but it does come out when he's like the other or whatever.
That sounds kind of gross.
You potentially might know it because it's what Kane has, but if you know who that is, but
let me have a Google. But continue, please.
And I was kind of like, man, I kind of hope they do that when I was watching it, and they didn't. And also, kind of, I feel like I just wish they did more with kind of that aspect of it. I feel like it's wrapped up way too quickly. So,
Garson.
What?
Garson Kane.
No.
Okay, Tom. So, do you have much more dislikes?
There's one or two things. Like, one thing I was noticed, and there's a couple of things kind of that I feel like could have been explained more. Like, I feel like just damage control just somehow has control of the hand, which I feel like is a bit random and not really like.
Okay.
Why would the hand work for damage control? They're like a Japanese kind of ninja organization.
They explain it to be like, oh, they just need a leader. But like, I assume that there was some mind games played in there, but they you are right, they don't explain that actually.
And also, I was kind of like, they don't explain like how Peter could just afford to live. Like, he obviously doesn't have a job. He's been Spider-Man just consistently in the daytime. And I did kind of think like, oh, maybe they established that he did kind of at some point like inherit maybe something off Stark, but I'm not sure if they ever did establish that. Either in this movie or the previous.
We did talk about this, didn't we, after the cinema? Like how has bro got a Samsung phone? Yeah, no, I think they did. I don't think we obviously talked about this when we came out. Like, oh, how fucking Spider-Man got a Samsung flip phone? You know, obviously market placement, but what I think they cost up to £700. I think.
I'm not sure, but the fact that apparently he doesn't have a job or whatever, and he's able to afford and live and get a phone and like afford the materials for like suits and web fluid.
Yeah, no, it's where is that coming from? And I obviously I think we assume we've got like the only thing we can do is assume that it's from Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because where else is Bros Billions going? I assume during the blip. No, not during the blip. I doubt he would have wrote a fucking new will with Peter in the blip. Maybe he never changed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe he was in before the blip. A Samsung flip phone is about for £500. So $550.
Yeah.
How is bro affording that? What actually? Speaking of that, what do you think about him not being a photographer for the Daily Planet? Because that's a big change.
Yeah. I feel like, see, at least to me, because I've read it, and also I've watched, the Toby and Andrew, it is an integral part of Spider-Man's character to me. It doesn't work in like this modern setting where newspapers just don't exist. And even kind of modern, I guess, like news blogs or whatever, it doesn't really exist. Like everyone's got smartphones. You don't need kind of professional photographers for like a news blog anymore.
Yeah.
But I feel like they need to find an alternative to that where it is kind of just as unreliable, but it does like get Peter's income or whatever.
Yeah. Oh shit. Well, I'm trying to think what job that could be. But no, yeah, you are right. Newspapers are kind of irrelevant nowadays. Okay, now that makes sense. Yeah, I was thinking it was like, but no, you've explained that quite well. No, you're right. You're right.
I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't read modern Spider-Man comics because they're shit, but I'm not sure if like the Daily Bugle even exists in like modern Spider-Man comics anymore. Like, I know people moan that Spider-Man does have a supporting cast in the comics, but I'm not sure if they've just like completely just got rid of the Planet or whatever. Bugle.
The Bugle. Bro's getting his Marvel and DC mixed up, mixed up. But okay. Do you have any more dislikes, Tom? Before we move on,
2 quite minor ones. One, I think I leaned over to you and said this when we were watching it. Of course, Peter just leaves his letter to MJ just on the table in Frank's boat because it just needs to happen because MJ just needs to find out about it or whatever.
Yeah,
because Peter just apparently like fell asleep reading the letter or something, which is a bit like
it's like what the fuck. Yeah. No, you're right. Oh, yeah, I do remember you turning to me during that. I didn't see him have the letter with him though. That's what I thought it was still in the coffee cup, but bro clearly carries that around.
I think it's because the guy who was driving Sadie Sink's character gave it him after the.
Oh. Okay. Do you think this version of Spider-Man is a pussy? I don't, but do you?
No.
I think he's a bit whipped for MJ. Because, no, I guess they all are a bit whipped for MJ, but well, not Andrew, but Toby is.
I mean, he's whipped for Gwen, and then she died because of it.
Yikes! Yeah, it's true. They obviously did the nod to that in this movie with
that was my other note. Like, I think I also turned around to you and it's like, how many times are they gonna fucking do this? Like Gwen Stacy death scene, and like you did it I feel like they did it like at least like 2 times in No Way Home, and they're doing it again here, and they've done it like in Spider-Man movies previously, and it's just kind of like, how many times are they going to do this? But to be honest, that was my last dislike of this. So
that's perfect because I would like to say, now we're getting on the spot. I would like to see a different love interest for Tom Holland.
Yeah.
I think we've passed the point of them getting back together for like a movie maybe, but we've not passed the point of them being friends. Him, Ned, and MJ should be friends.
Yeah.
And maybe that, bring in Black Cat into it, bring in Gwen Stacy into it. Because as much as like they do really fit, him and Zendaya, it's getting to a point where it's like, in the 5th movie, is it just going to be, MJ, you do still love me, don't you?
Yeah. To be honest, I did kind of think like maybe there'd be something between Tim and Sadie Sink's character, like when at the end of the movie when he was helping her or whatever. But I was kind of like, I don't really know the age of Sadie Sink's character. I feel like she's meant to be a teenager, but I feel like Sadie Sink's like doesn't really give that.
Yeah.
So I'm
Sadie
a bit
Sink doesn't
confused.
look like a teenager, but Sarah, is it Sarah? Yeah, Sarah was definitely meant to be older.
Yeah.
So I'd say maybe, you know what, I'm gonna Google quickly if yeah. So I can't find her age on this, but I assume she was meant to be a younger mutant, and
Yeah.
Sarah was significantly older, like an older sister. What do you know? Do you know off the top of your head, because you've read X-Men comics, what age they normally their mutated gene pops up,
It's like
or does it vary?
like if they've got like physical characteristics like someone like Nightcrawler, that's from physical characteristics like birth, but I think like powers generally come in like when you hit puberty.
Okay. Um. So I don't think they probably could. I don't think they would then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pause. But I wouldn't hate to see a MCU Gwen Stacy. She, like, in the comics she gets them at age 10. It says here.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is out. But yeah, no. So I don't see them doing that. I feel like maybe it's more of a mental. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't think they'll interact again.
Yeah.
Maybe in, like, a Secret Wars, but I don't know if they will. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I hope if they do another interest, they do one that's different than just MJ or Gwen. As you said, Black Cat. There's other interests they could do. I'm not. Betty Brant, does she exist? Oh, Betty Brant does exist, doesn't she? She's played by Angourie Rice in
Does she
Homecoming.
exist?
She's the blonde girl, isn't she? In
Oh,
Homecoming.
Ned's girlfriend, Betty Brant. Yeah. Okay.
But you could have Black Cat, potentially Cindy Moon. They could introduce because I feel like they haven't established like the spider bite in the MCU yet, and because of that, I feel like they can very easily fit Cindy Moon in there because Cindy Moon was bitten by the same Spider-Man spider Peter was bitten by. So I feel like because they haven't established a spider, they could
Is she Silk?
Yeah.
I'm on the knowledge. Sorry, yeah. Anyway.
I feel like there is other options I could explore, and I would like them to explore outside MJ and Gwen. So
No, I fully agree. Or if not, like, maybe have the movie where it's a different love interest, and then I'm not saying it will, but it would not surprise me if it got greenlit for a sixth movie, and then bring it back to MJ. And then I think by the sixth movie, actually Tom Holland probably wouldn't be old enough, like too old for Spider-Man, but you know they might want to do a soft reboot if they do. You know, anyway, it doesn't matter.
I mean, can I just say, while speaking on future Spider-Man movies, I feel like I was thinking about this when I was watching it. The introduction of Jean DeWolf, and also I think technically the fact the Venom, like one of the Venom post-credit scenes, it might have been the No Way Home post-credit scene, has like the like symbiote drop or whatever in like this universe when Venom gets brought over in No Way Home or whatever. Yeah. I feel like in one of the future movies, I would love to see a Venom, but also I feel like if you have Jean DeWolf in the universe, you can do the death of Jean DeWolf storyline from the comics, which is really good, and like because that would also set up Venom quite well because basically Jean DeWolf's killed by a villain called the Sin Eater in comics. Venom, Eddie Brock interviews a guy claiming to be the Sin Eater. That gets published to Eddie Brock's paper. Then Spider-Man catches the real Sin Eater, and it's revealed that Eddie Brock's story is a fraud. And then he goes and he gets fired. He's life ruined. He goes to the church to try and kill himself, and that's when he turns into Venom.
Okay.
And I feel
do you see Eddie Brock actually coming into this universe because of, well, one, because of the Venom movie separate, but two, because of, I know obviously in Spider-Man 3 we see them being more like dual photographers, and obviously you just said he was a journalist. But do you see that being a?
I hope they do, because there's a lot of like post-credit scenes in this era of Marvel that haven't been paid off, and I at least hope the one. I'm not sure if it was in No Way Home or in, I think, like Venom 3 or whatever. They do establish that like Venom did come over during No Way Home and did like drop some of the symbiote in this New York.
Does that make sense to you though? Because there's not a Peter Parker in Venom's universe, is there?
I don't think so.
So that always confused me. I think that must have been more like a gag thing, like, oh look,
Yeah.
But no, I would, it's clear that the Venom symbiote is there. And can I be honest? And this is probably not the route they should go, but I would like to see Flash Thompson come back in. Do you know the guy?
Yeah.
But like the Homecoming, Far From Home, Flash, not, I wouldn't mind seeing him again.
Also, just thinking about it now, you said that. Scorpion's in this movie. Scorpion gets the Venom symbiote during the 2000s. I think he's. I'm not sure if he's Venom on the Dark Avengers or he's just Venom before that. But anyway, Scorpion gets the Venom symbiote, and Scorpion obviously played a bit of a big role in this movie. So, like, there's pieces that could fall into place down the road, I think.
This is something I will praise Marvel for, because like we do live in an era where it's, let me give you 50 post-credit scenes that will never play off, but play off, pay off anyway. It doesn't matter. But look at Homecoming with Scorpion's first. We first see Scorpion, and that was 2016.
17, I think.
7, yeah, that one. 17, and then 9 years later, that finally pays off. Yeah, I do appreciate that. To be fair, that they kept the cast in. But also for him, I've got a lot of respect for the actor, because he just like, they give him like, oh yeah, come in here, and we might have a job secured for you later down the line. 9 years later, it worked. Yeah, no. So I did like that, that aspect of it. I know you're not a big fan of Tom Holland, Spider-Man.
I'm not.
But speaking of just Tom Holland in this movie, I think he did a great job. Sorry, I've moved on to the okay with that. With the continuation of him losing his presence in the universe, and then by the start of this one, he's like, you see him in the final credits of not the credits, but you see it in the final shot of Spider-Man No Way Home, where he's jumping off the building.
Yeah.
And then you see in this one where he's already got his presence back. They're all still like, you know what I mean? It feels very much like you go from a new lonely like Spider-Man through this one, and I think he did that really well.
I feel like
go on.
I feel like beside I feel like you don't get kind of, I'm not sure if this is Tom Holland's accent or just I guess the script in general, but I feel like you don't get like fully kind of the loneliness aspect of Spider-Man, because it's not just, you get it with like MJ and Ned, but it's just the fact that like he's got absolutely no one, but it seems to only focus on the fact he's own, like MJ and Ned are like leading completely different lives, rather than he's just general kind of loneliness, I feel.
And to be fair, I don't know if this is really the point you're trying to make, but you do have a point with the fact that you do look at it like that, and it's like, oh wait, we're movie 4 in, and he doesn't really have as big as a supporting cast as you think he does.
Yeah.
I mean, Flash is gone from this movie. Betty is also gone from this movie. She's not in it. I don't think she was in the third one either. Anyway, but you know what I mean? Like, you haven't got like Black Cat introduced. You haven't got like Gwen Stacy. You've got, you know what I mean? You've got no like. It's simply just you're right with just Ned and MJ, and then obviously we get Frank, which I'd hope we see Frank in the next one.
Yeah, because it was fun seeing him like a longer project rather than just like off episodes of Daredevil or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. And obviously, coming up from Tom Holland, our other really big star in this movie, a really big presence in this movie is Sadie Sink as Jean Grey, which was a very unexpected role. Like, if she was playing someone, Jean Grey, weird cast, everything, but man, is Sadie Sink incredible. Obviously, being her main project being Stranger Things, which she's really good in, and then obviously she was in Fear Streets. She was in a couple of the Fear Streets, which were on Netflix. Horror movies. Don't know if you watch them, Tom.
Nope.
And I don't know if she's been in anything else, but they're like majority of what she's been in. And then we get her in her first Marvel movie as Jean Grey, right? So what? We're not doing Sophie Turner anymore. Sophie Turner's gone. Jean Grey. Okay, not bad. I don't really know how I feel about her power set. She's obviously clearly a new mutant type thing, and I think this works. I think it works with Spider-Man figuring out she can only do a 33 jump. 33-meter jump, and then that being established that she knows that she can only do a 33-meter jump.
Yeah.
And I like to see that, and I like to see her character. But I'm thinking more like actually Sadie Sink is incredible in this.
Yeah, she is.
She's weirdly a good villain, even though the Jean Grey shouldn't really have been the villain for this. There should have been a bit a more a better one. Because it doesn't really make sense why she's tormenting Tom. Do you know what I mean? I didn't get that. Sorry, Spider-Man. Sorry. It was what like.
I think it's because he's like damage control's ally, and he's like really
okay.
He's the most powerful kind of ally damage control has, and she obviously wants damage control brought down because her sister was like killed by him.
I get that, but she takes it out on MJ, and it's like, dude, what the fuck? And I think maybe this shows her age more. Like she's more immature in the fact that she says she's willing to kill for what she loves, and it's like it feels like a very childish view on life. But Sadie Sink does it so well.
Yeah.
And I think she does like. I guess it's unfair to compare the Stranger Things cast to everyone, but like if anyone's doing the distance, it is Sadie Sink. Obviously, Millie Bobby Brown, she's kind of a goated actor in my opinion, but Sadie Sink plays it so well. And then you've got the emotional range when she's like evil, and then she's sad because of her sister. She finds that out. It's like, and I think she is a highlight to this movie, even if Jean Grey doesn't make sense. Sadie Sink is a highlight to the movie.
Speaking of Jean Grey, I did just look up while we were talking. Apparently, both Famke Janssen, who played Jean Grey in like the first couple X-Men movies, and Sophie Turner aren't confirmed aren't coming back in Doomsday. So,
oh shit!
I feel like maybe potentially it's because they're setting up Sadie Sink to go on and be that Jean Grey in Doomsday and Secret Wars. But
are you worried about the state that the X-Men might become with the new generation of casting?
More so, I'm probably worried about them going into the MCU. The MCU being like what it is currently, rather than like I feel like if they get the casting right, like they've done with Jean Grey, and they might do with like the rest of the X-Men. I feel like that nails it. I feel like going into like starting X-Men like now, like what it'll be like? It'll be after Doomsday and Secret Wars, so like 20 odd years into this franchise. I feel like they've got to have like good reasons for the X-Men to be like there now and only like making themselves known now or whatever.
And there isn't that build up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because obviously this is the thing with Absolute Batman, with Bruce Wayne being a 2002 baby. You can't have X-Men like Magneto because the guy was in the Holocaust, and that's kind of a good part of his character. But like the guy was in the Holocaust, and we're talking maybe we're getting close to 70, 80 years from that. Which can work, but also for the MCU it can't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why we have a younger Aunt May. You know what I mean? We have that because it's an earlier established. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously we've got you get X-Men 1, 2, and 3, which has got Patrick Stewart, not Michael Fassbender. That's the next. But Sir Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to have Charles Xavier and Magneto for mutants and X-Men, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of have to have Jean Grey and Cyclops and Wolverine. Like if you want to sell, that's kind of what you need, right?
Yeah.
So coming into a new generation, so you get Sadie Sink, but what Mason Thames is Magneto? You know what I mean? It's a war. You kind of get what I mean when it's kind of like a worrying. Because don't get me wrong, I may have shit on Mason Thames today, but I shouldn't have. Fair enough. Some things he's done is very good. Black Phone 1 was incredible. We're not talking about Black Phone 2. Either way.
I feel like there's also very big shoes to fill with James Marsden, Cyclops, Famke Janssen, and like trying to get someone to replace Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Obviously, I feel like the smart move is bring Daphne Keane back as X-23. But just trying to replace Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, I feel like just in general is like such a hard decision to do.
And it will we've had 2 Wolverines, and there was a small clip of Henry Cavill as Wolverine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which worked, but it's that age thing, and we can bring Wolverine. Hugh Jackman can stay Wolverine realistically, but not forever.
Yeah.
If you recast in Jean Grey for someone younger, you kind of have to recast, like, kind of in the sense of like Quicksilver. I doubt Quicksilver would be in this MCU because he already exists. If you get me, existed. Anyway, so it is a semi-worrying thing because yes, you've got really talented actresses like Sadie Sink for Jean Grey, but who might you pick for like Emma Frost? And you've got to you've got that age range. If you want, like, you've got to pick from an age of like 20 to like mid 30s maybe to get like some like good films out of them. And I'm not saying like you can't have a really aged up, but you can't go into 40s. But it's like casting early age Superman as someone in their like 40s. That you've got to have them for a while. So I think that is a worry of like you finally introducing the X-Men, but if you're going to do it one at a time, Jean Grey's going to be in her 30s by the time you've cast fucking Cyclops, if you get me. Which obviously we'll see in Doomsday what they do. If they do a full universe reset, they merge, or if the more, if they do what DC did, where those 2 universes came to one universe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which we don't know until Doomsday's come, and I think we as a podcast definitely think Doomsday is very rushed.
Yeah.
With no build up. I'm more excited for Doomsday now, but no build up.
I was just going to say, I've just quickly looked it up. Apparently, Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day was supposed to come out after Doomsday originally.
Okay.
And I feel like maybe, like, it wouldn't have been reworked so much that, like, I feel like Sadie Sink was probably already definitely in Jean Grey in, like, that ideas version of, like, the script, and I feel like it couldn't have been reworked, like, that much, like, post, like, the change in schedule. So I just hope also that they do kind of find a way out of it and bring, like, the X-Men. But, yeah, I am quite excited for Doomsday, especially after rewatching Avengers the other night.
And when you came out of the cinema, you said you were more excited for Secret Wars after the
after the post-credit scene.
Yes, which I liked that post-credit scene. It's not like a big one, but it's like, oh, Spider-Man's in space.
I feel like we all kind of initially thought at the start, oh shit, we waited to the credits just for this like jokey scene, but then like it just pans out and out and out until you see like another spider tracker like on presumably like another planet, like coming in.
And is that a nod to the post-credit scene in Thunderbolts, maybe with the ship, or do you know what I mean? Like one of those, maybe it's kind of like a Venom. Maybe it's like like Spider-Man's on an asteroid, or is genuinely just a clip. Because I don't know if we'll have another Spider-Man before Secret Wars, and I assume he'll be in Secret Wars. That's an assumption.
I think
I
he's
don't
in
know.
Secret Wars. Yeah, I don't think he's in Doomsday, but I think he's in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And obviously, kind of with, it does kind of intrigue me what they're going to do with Secret Wars, because obviously I feel like they're more likely adapting the 2015 Secret Wars, especially because they've established like the incursions in Doctor Strange 2. But basically, in that Secret Wars, you have like two different Earths basically suddenly like exist in the same place and collide into each other.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's what they're getting towards, like the Spider-Man tracker out in space. It's like the Spider-Man of another Earth just suddenly appearing like in space above. But it does make me wonder, like, are they going to have Tom Holland play that other Spider-Man? Are they going to like bring back Toby or Andrew?
Oh yeah.
So
okay, yeah, but like it's an exciting end credit, and I did enjoy it. One and yeah. So this movie has definitely helped my excitement for the rest of the MCU. I didn't see Fantastic Four, but on our rewatch, I will have seen it. So go check out our rewatch series. We're getting Spider-Man in a couple of weeks. So if you want more Spider-Man content, it is coming. We hope you've enjoyed this episode.
We do.
If you have, give us a like and subscribe. Ring that bell for more content. We'll have weekly MCU rewatches and then a weekly podcast episode. And hopefully, one day, Tom, we're going to get some actual Minecraft or Fortnite or any kind of actual gaming content once we finally figure out a capture card.
Yeah.
We're getting there. But nope, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. Goodbye.